What's up, everyone? Perry Nemiroff here for the first Collider interview of New York Comic Con 2025. I'm so excited to be sitting with the team behind A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Might have seen a little bit, might have liked it quite a bit, so I'll say an early congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ira, you're getting my first question. I want to start at the very, very beginning with all of this for you. At what point are you brought into the process of the making of this show? Are you working on House of the Dragon and then someone comes to you and says, what do you think about this next?
No, I was working on various HBO projects. I got a text at, I think, 4 o'clock in the morning saying, what do you think about Duncan Egg from somebody at HBO? And I spent the next week diving into everything in this section of Westeros, this history of Westeros, at which point, I think I knew probably more than George did about this section of Westeros. And I went and I had a call with HBO and I was talking about it only to realize that I already had the job. They already wanted me to do it, and they didn't like any of my ideas that I was pitching them for what I thought the series was going to be. They wanted a very straight, faithful adaptation, and that's what we went ahead and did.
Oh, I love hearing about how ideas evolve. So now I have to ask this question. When they first brought this idea to you, what was the first way you envisioned this show turning out, and how does that compare to the finished product everyone's going to see next year?
Look, so being obviously a huge Game of Thrones fan and a writer on House of the Dragon, I assumed that this was going to be 10 episodes, hour-long episodes every season. And obviously these novellas are they're shorter. They are not the massive tomes that we get to enjoy for the other series. And so I thought we were going to combine them, bring it all together, bring in elements of the Blackfire Rebellion pretty immediately. And when I heard that it was going to be 6 episodes and they wanted to do shorter half-hour episodes, I was just like, great. That means we can do 1 novella a season. That means we can start the way that we're supposed to start. Just follow Dunk in his journey into this world. We can be ground up. We can be slow. We can be intimate in this little, and just give people a little enjoyment, a little treat inside this world.
I told you before, and I know I'm only one person, but pushing play on your show as a big Game of Thrones fan, I found what you're doing incredibly refreshing. One more question for you before I highlight your wonderful stars here. We were talking about this before. I said I might bring this question up, and I'm always fascinated by someone's experience managing this when they jump into such a popular franchise like this. When you're making this show, I guess, what is the key to respecting why all of the pressure around it exists, but also not letting yourself be consumed by it and still making sure that you see your vision through with confidence?
Look, I think anyone who's come before me, everybody comes to this series with so much of their own enthusiasm. David and Dan brought their own to that. Ryan Condal is obviously a super fan of this world. And that's all that I had to do was make sure that my love of this series, of George's work, of Westeros, of these characters, came out in the writing, in the production of this show. That was the only goal. If people like what we've done, that's wonderful. I put everything that I love about this series into these 6 episodes.
That's all you can do. That's the best compass to have. I love it. For the two of you now kind of leaning into the pressure of it all. It could be scary to play a character in this world and kind of meet fan expectations. But I think what matters more than anything is that you, to your core, believe that you are these characters and you belong in this world. So for each of you, what was the very first moment you had, either in prep or on set, when you knew, like, I am meant to be Duncan, I am meant to be Egg, and I belong in Game of Thrones?
Go for it.
I'll start. So this was probably the first time I met George R. R. Martin. This was an amazing thing. But actually, there was a funny story at this scene. We just filmed the tug of war scene, and I got thrown up in the air by Peter because we won it, and I hit my eye on his nose. and then my mum comes running on saying, George is here. And then she's like, are you okay? So I go on, I meet George, and he told me that my acting and how I looked literally just jumped off the page from the book, and that felt like I am meant to be Egg. This is what I should do.
Beautiful answer.
Yeah, I I suppose, more like Dunk, my sort of confirmation of getting the role and stuff was just met with tremendous anxiety, panic, and just constant sweating and stomach problems. I've been a massive fan, obviously, of the original Game of Thrones series. So just to even be involved in the world or have the opportunity to be in the world in some shape or form was obviously amazing, but just tremendously terrifying too. And I know how much these books are loved and cherished and awed over. And I was like, I've got a responsibility here to try and really do justice to this character. So it was the most amount of preparation and work that I've done into anything that I've worked on before. And I think the beauty behind it too is like Ira translated the book to screenplay so beautifully as well. And it was like the fact that we had a novella or a group of 3 novellas in a book to go back to literature on, that I knew you've kind of got to balance the literary fans and the TV fans totally, and to have those 2 things, to have the script and to have the book to be able to merge together and draw from all the time was such a huge help. And then obviously everybody in production was to come into such an animal like that. Everybody, like Ira, both our directors, Owen and Sarah, were just the greatest, most supportive team as well. So it was such a help, you know.
Oh, I have so many follow-up questions coming to mind. I wish we had time to get to them all. I don't think we're going to, so I'm going to go with this one. It sounds like, you did a significant amount of research and you really prepped, but of course, as we've already said, they're shorter episodes. It's 6 episodes this time around. You'll hopefully get more opportunity to continue to explore, but it does make me wonder, is there any particular detail about the character that you found during that research that maybe we didn't have time to include and hear about or see directly in season 1, but we could at least feel informing your performance and you keeping it close to you as you play him?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Is that obviously the story lends itself to the sort of conflict that he has with the moral compass and values that he's been hammered home with by Sir Ireland, and of course that conflict on seeing all these knights that he's really looked up to and held in high regard, and not finding them as full of the values and moral that he values himself. There's all that conflict behind it, but I think the ambiguity that I felt like maybe I might have been a slight idiot after reading the book, but I was like, just the ambiguity surrounding the fact as to whether or not Sir Ireland actually did knight him. And you've got that ambiguity behind things, it changed everything for me. And I remember talking with Ira and talking with George even briefly about it, and it draws such a very different sort of characteristic from the actual character as well. And like a lot of those little snippets and reading the book over and over again and finding little bits of information all just keep relaying back into your subconscious. So it really helped in that regard.
I'm going to zero in on the 2 of you as scene partners now, because it does feel like this show kind of lives or dies based on your chemistry together. And again, based on what I've seen thus far, it feels like it's the perfect pairing here. So can you each tell me something about the other as a scene partner that you really appreciated and maybe even helped you deliver your own best work in the show?
Do you want to start?
Do you need time to think? Yeah, I was thinking that. Dexter, working with an 11-year-old, and you were 10, is
9.
You were 9,
Yeah,
right?
I was.
He was 9. You were 9, and working with a 9-year-old, the thought that you're going to work with a 9-year-old ends after the first hour or 2, because you feel like you're working with a 25-year-old. He's just so mature, brilliant at his craft, and really cares about his craft a lot. And I'm actually quite honoured to be able to work with Dexter, because I know he's going to have an amazing career after this. So yeah, just to be able to bounce off each other in scenes and really get to know each other. And it felt like it was never hard, any of our scenes together. It only got easier, and that's such a quality that was, I mean, I appreciate it so
building our
much.
relationship.
Totally. And that was from going to the arcade and stuff.
Yeah. The arcade is like our motivation
Yeah,
to do all
for sure. The
everything.
arcade. Yeah.
And about Peter, the first time I was auditioning in Lucy Bevan's office, and I met loads of dunks, and then I saw Peter, and I really wanted him to get the role. He was my 100% favourite, and I felt like we had a connection there.
Yeah.
And then when we started filming and he got the job, I was so happy. Because when I had the job, and I was like, amazing, but like, now I need Peter to get the job.
Yeah.
And then I heard he got it, and it was amazing. And then we started filming, and we made such this great relationship.
For sure. Absolutely. Thanks,
About
brother.
everything.
Appreciate it. For sure.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
I love it. Ira, I'm going to squeeze in one more question for you before we play our little game here. I was reading another interview you had done where you were talking about the opening title sequence, or the lack thereof, in your show. And in particular, you had mentioned that not including one was probably the most stressful decision I made on this. So when I hear it described that way, I need to know the behind the scenes. Can you kind of walk me through how that conversation went, and if there was any, back and forth on the matter?
Whew. Look, sitting down on Sunday night to watch Game of Thrones and hearing that probably the most iconic theme of all time come on and just take you out of your life and put you into this world where magic has existed, does exist, has once, every is, within the walls of this world, is very helpful because then it allows you to tell more human stories. You've already been cued. Here we are. We're somewhere else. Okay, now you're just going to go with us. Ultimately, we decided not to do one because we tried to be as character forward in this as possible. And this is a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's a story about Dunk. It's a story about Dunk and Egg, but Dunk is a human being. What type of person is he? He's simple, not flashy, and he just gets on with it. And so we decided to forego the opening credits and to just get on with it. And hopefully people don't kill us for it.
Again, I am only one person. I understand and respect the
Very
choice. Listen, though, I'm going to put the pressure on you right now.
Okay.
I love horror. I feel quite strongly about many characters on our Collider Bracket Challenge board right now. At New York Comic Con, we are naming the best horror movie villain of all time. I know some of you at least know your horror, and I promised, because you're the first up, you would get to choose which bracket you could play first. So who wants to make the call? Who wants to make the move?
So are we picking each individual pairing and pushing
Each
them forward?
pairing is going against each other, and you
Right.
pick one person in one pairing to
So
move forward.
what do you think's a better film?
Well, better.
The better villain.
Better than
Yes.
Will we start with Leatherface and Chucky?
Yeah.
Who's
That's the one you want to commit to. Every interview is going to move a different piece of the bracket
okay,
board.
right?
Okay.
Do we want to do Leatherface and Chucky?
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start at the very top.
Okay.
Number one.
I have my vote. We can do it.
Should we do
I have
that?
my vote. Well, I'm. This is quite new. I'm only able to look at Chucky's face now because I spent most of my childhood
That's a
terrified
pretty
him.
strong response.
I know.
As it should be.
But then there's Leatherface. So, what do you think?
Look, I don't think I've ever been that scared of a child. So
Okay.
I
But he's a doll, though,
yeah.
It's creepy.
and the voice as well.
Dex, do you have thoughts here?
I mean, I don't know who that Leatherface guy is, so.
He's Halloween,
Which is a
right?
good thing. Leatherface is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas
Let's wait a
Chainsaw
little on
Massacre.
that.
Jeez, sorry.
I reckon.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Yeah. It's up to you, Dexter.
Oh,
Ira's going Leatherface. I'm going Chucky.
I'm gonna do. Give me a number 1, 2, 5.
3.
It's Chucky.
Chucky?
Sorry, Ira.
All right.
Be it.
Chucky advances on the board.
I think we've made the right decision there.
Can we move
Yeah.
Chucky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it, man.
Let's see
Chucky.
if that comes off the board.
It's a good choice for
Give it
us
a yank.
because,
Yeah.
magic
put it
always
right
wins
there.
in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Evil murderer magic.
Where do I put him?
Chucky, right here.
Yeah.
Takes a step forward. We'll see who Chucky faces between Babadook and Ghostface. With that, I'm going to say thank you for playing our game and huge congratulations on your show. Enjoy celebrating at New York Comic Con and all the good stuff that lies ahead for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.